Chapter 6 in my book is called Death and Dying, Why the Fear? And I've called it that because so many people are frightened of death, frightened of dying, and they tend to sweep it under the carpet, and it's never discussed, and they're never going to die. And despite the fact that every living creature does finish up by dying, I say dying, so that is why the chapter was written, and I've covered in there the reasons why we should not fear death or dying. And excellent examples are given by people who have near-death experiences. In other words, they float out of their body and they see themselves travelling down a tunnel and into a world of love and light. And there they claim to speak to deceased relatives, loved ones who passed over many years before, hold intelligent conversations. They meet enlightened beings of great wisdom that tell them things that they didn't know or understand when they were on the earth, and tell them that they can't stay, that they have work to do and they must go back, where they feel themselves travelling back down this dark tunnel and they suddenly become conscious in their physical body again, to be told by doctors and nurses possibly that they nearly died and that the oscilloscope had flatlined. In other words, they were clinically dead, and yet here they were having this experience. And many of them float up above their physical bodies and see themselves being operated on the operating table, hear everything that the surgeons or doctors and nurses are saying, and give excellent evidence that they had all their faculties when they were fully unconscious. And when they return to their bodies and tell people what they saw and experienced, then people are quite amazed. Well, that is out-of-body experience or a near-death experience when they are near to death. So what is it that floats out of their body? Well, it's something that we know as the astral body. It's the spiritual counterpart of the physical body. It looks exactly the same, and it coexists within the physical because it exists on a harmonic frequency of the physical. And it is when the astral body comes out of alignment of the physical body that causes us to become unconscious, because consciousness is in the astral body, hence astral projection. And that can happen if we're knocked unconscious, electric shock, or we faint. And even when we go to sleep, we have an astral projection. So over a course of a lifetime, 1/3 of that lifetime we are spent asleep, we astral project when we are unconscious. So death is only of the physical body and not of the astral body. We liken the physical body to a spacesuit that the astral body is wearing to walk around in a material world of coarse vibration, a coarse frequency, just as an astronaut wears a spacesuit to walk on the moon, and a diver wears a suit to go to the depths under the sea. So we have a physical body to walk in the dense atmosphere of the earth. But when we die, the astral body leaves and goes into another frequency. That's all death is. And that's what I've explained in this chapter, that there is nothing to fear when we die, because consciousness can never die. Our real body is the astral body, and I will give you an example of what happened to me. In 1973, I was in a meditation group, and 5 minutes into the meditation, I felt myself travelling backwards at tremendous speed, and a rushing noise like a wind in my ears. And the next moment I was standing possibly 10 feet, 3 meters away at the other side of the room, wondering why I was standing up and all the others were sitting meditating. And I felt my arms, yes, I'd got a body, I was still alive, I could think, I was rational, I recognised everyone else sitting around in the room. And then I suddenly recognised the back of my head. I was standing behind myself, and then I panicked. And at that moment of panic, it was as if somebody had dragged me at tremendous speed back into my physical body, and I jumped sitting up in the seat, and my heart was thumping. And at the end of the meditation, our teachers asked us how we got on, and I told him of the experience, and he said, "Congratulations, Brian, you have just had an astral projection." And I said, "Well, what does that mean then?" And he said, your astral body has projected outside of your physical, which means you have proved to yourself that consciousness can exist outside of the physical body." Near-death experience survivors will tell you that they have no fear of death, and they felt peace and harmony when they were outside of their body, which is exactly what I felt. So death and dying should not be feared, but embraced when the time comes. And I think that is the message of this chapter. And I give some examples of people who've had out-of-the-body experiences or near-death experiences. There are many examples in that chapter for the interest of the reader.